Well, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Daily Life. I am your host, Tom Johnson. Today I'm talking about elections. Tomorrow, I'm talking about something else, which I will announce in approximately 9 minutes. But right now, elections. Now, I'm not going to talk about the politics of elections. It's a big issue. Go to CNN to find out about that. What I'm going to talk about is the dumb stuff, such as, I'm not going to talk about voter turnout or anything like that. I'm going to talk about the logistics and some of the things that I notice when I go to vote. Now, the first thing you have to know about elections is that they are rare. They are every 4 years. If you live in the United States, they're every 2 years. But still, the average person is going to have to go vote only once every couple of years. Now, this makes it easy to forget to do, because people are creatures of habit. If you have a habit of leaving work at 5 and driving home and being at home by 5:30, you are not going to want to stand in a 3-hour line to go vote. You might have to pick up your kids. You might have to go to an after-school workshop. You might have to go for dinner. Or any number of things that you might have to go do that you could do in the place of voting. And you don't feel like stopping. Let's say you really do want to vote. Well, then what could you do? This is where it's time to take out your thinking cap, put it on your head, figure it out. Advanced polls. Now, advanced polls usually occur over the weekend. But again there, if you're a creature of habit, you probably don't want to skip something that you have to do on the weekend. So now you say, what do? And maybe you end up not voting. That's a shame. Everybody should vote because it helps our democracy. When people vote, it makes our country a better place. It makes other countries a better place too. Now, people have become incredibly cynical in recent years, and they don't want to vote. A lot of people say, it'll send the politicians a message if I don't go vote. That is absolutely wrong. All that sends the message to the politicians is that they can annoy you enough so that you do not vote. And by the way, if you don't vote, the incumbent party is probably going to get in again. Not voting favors the incumbent party. So let's take an example. Let's say I live in a district. Now, for Canadians, I'm sorry, but the United States is far bigger, and I probably have more viewers down there. Well, I'll do one of each. Hey, I got time. So I live in the States, and I live in a Republican district, and I'm a Democrat. And I say, well, I'm going to show that Republican I'm not going to go vote. He's probably going to get back in. Now, in Canada, this is exacerbated even more. Let's say I'm in a Liberal riding, and I'm a Conservative. I'm using the opposite example from the States. If you don't know what the difference is, look it up. I'm going to use the opposite example. The parties are called different, so. And I said, well, I'm going to show that Liberal I'm not going to go vote. He's probably going to get back in. So rule number 1 about elections is vote or else. Now, the other thing too is that if you don't go vote and express your opinion, you don't have the right to complain about anything, because people who vote are informed, they've made a decision about their lives. And by not voting, you forfeit the right to whine. Anything that happens in the next 4 years, people, because if you didn't express an opinion on anything, then when things go badly, you don't have any right to complain. Because the thing is, when things go badly in a society, under democracy, people have the right to get rid of the person who did that to them. Now, let's say you voted and you drive home. Another thing about elections aren't just about voting. They're about predicting who's going to win and who's going to lose. Elections are about winners and losers. And if you're not in politics or if you don't like politics, you should know that. You can't half win an election. Well, I guess if you ask George W. Bush, he might have a different opinion on that. But it's not really done. You can't half win an election. You either win or you lose. Now, I say that about George W. Bush because that was the most infamous election in probably the history of in human history. Has got to be the election of 2000 in the United States. That election was decided by 537 voters in the state of Florida. If you're a cynic, you say that election was decided by 5 Supreme Court justices. I'm not going to express an opinion on that because, as I say, this is a show that focuses on minutia. And this subject of voting in elections is verging close to the line. I am tiptoeing up to the line. I will not jump over it. So I'm going to do that by staying nonpartisan. So some people say he didn't win the election. He didn't actually win the election because his friends in the Supreme Court helped him out. The other people say he did win the election because constitutionally we couldn't have counted the votes in time. We'll probably never know which side is accurate. You know, because how could it occur? I don't know. So, right. Now, elections are political theater, and political theater is something, I mean, anybody who, what day are we at here? Today is I didn't announce the date, did I? In case I didn't announce the day, today is Thursday, February the 6th. 2014. Yesterday was Wednesday the 5th. Can't remember if I announced the date yesterday, but anyway. If I forget to announce the date, let me know and mail me on it because it's important that you know what day it is. Some people probably watch this show the first thing they do after they get up because they're like, man, I gotta know. What do the folks at Daily Life think about a subject? What does Tom Johnson think about a subject? Also, by the way, if you haven't noticed, what I kind of do throughout the week, in reference to my clothing, I started wearing just a loafing around t-shirt usually, and then throughout the week I get more and more formal, which peaks on Friday in the suit. Tomorrow is Friday. I will be wearing my suit tomorrow. In case y'all want to know that. So, now, so you vote or you don't vote, you go home. Now, a lot of people when they get home, the first thing that they do after dinner is they turn on the television to watch some TV. Did a show on television way back about a month ago. In fact, it was almost exactly a month ago. And if you have not seen that show, I encourage you to go watch that show. It is an interesting show, but I am digressing. And people flick on the TV. If it's an election night, all they're going to see is coverage of the election. You're not going to see Two Broke Girls. You're not going to see Law and Order. You're not going to see Parks and Rec. You're not going to see The Office. You're not going to see CSI. You're not going to see whatever you watch on television. All you will see is the election. If you don't care about politics, I don't know what you're going to do with yourself that night. Maybe you should actually go out and do something other than sit and watch television. Could be good for you. Anyway, excuse me, I'm a little tired. That's all I have to say. That subject really did tiptoe right up to the line of a controversial issue, but I think I got through it. Tomorrow we're going right back to the non-controversial stuff. Navigating. Did a lot of stuff about traveling, driving, parking. Never really touched on navigating because navigators are important, and they also have one of the hardest jobs in the car. It's usually mom. Dad usually drives. So come back tomorrow. We'll wrap it up and head into the weekend.